Now, I'm going to start off with historical memory, right? Sister Ash said at the beginning, historical memory. We have to have historical memory or we're a slave. If we don't understand what's happened to us in the past, we don't know where we're going. We just basically taking up space. Okay? We're taking up space. Now, the origins of man, I'm going to go through this real quickly here, y'all. All right? This is the hominid line. Okay? This is how we evolved. This is what the scientists say. It's how we evolved into what we are now, Homo sapiens sapien. We started off with Ramapithecus, which ended about 10 million years ago. Ramapithecus, which a lot of you guys, as you get in the 12th grade, you'll get a little bit more in a study, and you'll see that a lot of the scientists say we came from apes or monkeys. Okay, I'm personally not going to go that far and say that, but our early humans were monkey-like. They were monkey-like. Okay, they weren't in trees, and as they came down out of the trees, they needed something to protect them from the sun. Okay, you needed something, and as we evolved, our brain started to get bigger. Okay, into Australopithecus, which is 4 million years ago. Australopithecus stood up just a little bit further. Then we have Homo habilis 2 million years ago. And I know these are big words. Okay? Homo habilis is the first Homo. Then we have Homo erectus. Now, Homo erectus is very important because as Homo erectus started to stand up, and his forehead was able to receive the direct sunlight from the sun, which clicked on that pineal gland, which secreted the melanin, which gives us this color, which protects us from the sun. That's why, you know, when you get a brother who's 45 years old, you're like, man, how old is that dude, man? You look 20-something. I'm going to explain that a little bit further in a second. Homo sapien, which is very important. This Homo sapien is one of the earliest men that we now know, we now see. And again, we are Homo sapiens sapien today. All right? Now, the significance of this is you have to all understand that the first 3 species of man, now, Ramapithecus, Australopithecus, and Homo habilis, y'all, never left Africa. They never left Africa. We are the original people on this planet. We are the original people on this planet. And what's that say? What's that say? Right? It says a lot. It doesn't say we're superior to anybody. We're better, you know? No. We are the original people. This is the proof, y'all. You write down the name, you go to Google, and you look it up. This is the proof. Okay? The first 3 never left Africa. The last 3 left Africa in search for trade routes. They left different spots. They went to different places of the earth. And until about 12,000 years ago, y'all, that earth was in an ice age. There's ice everywhere. So as man started to move to different places, we have what's called adaptation, which changes you. Clearly, fact. Clear fact. That's why in the winter, I'm light-skinned, I'm a little Puerto Rican. In the summer, I'm almost this brother's color. Right? So if I'm in the cold weather all the time, my body's going to change. Take the next slide for me, please. Now this again shows from the tomb of Seti I that this is from Medu Neter, the hieroglyphics. Okay? This is from the tomb of Seti I. This proves adaptation, brothers and sisters. Syrians, the Nubians, the Libyans, and the Egyptians. Now we talk a lot about Kemet, Egypt. You know, you hear a lot about Egypt and how important Egypt was, but Egypt wasn't the first, y'all. These Nubians were.
Yes, sir.
They go by many names. Kushite. There was 3 eras in Nubia. Kerma, Napata, and Meroe. 3 different stages that our people basically were dominant in the world. Dominant. Agriculture, science, math, religion. Everything we had before Egypt. Egypt just didn't all of a sudden just pop out of nowhere, y'all. Where'd they get their stuff from, right? But it's interesting to note is that they only give these brothers credit in the 25th dynasty. This is a long period. They call them the Black Pharaohs. Right? You got to pay attention to what you read and what you hear now. These Egyptians were influenced by brothers from the south. Because the root of existence, everything came from the south. You got to understand that. I'm sure you guys, some of you in here might know that the Nile flows north 4,000 miles. Okay? So upper will be lower. It's the opposite. Next photo, please. Now here's another example, a very powerful point here. Everybody look at this figure here. Now, somebody tell me that this ain't an African. Can anybody in here tell me this ain't a brother? Look like my uncle, somebody's cousin probably. I mean, let's be realistic now. Look at him. Okay? Look at the helmet on his head. Look at his nose, look at his full lips. This is a black man. Now, where's this come from? This comes from Mexico, 800 BC. 800 BC, right? We're talking a very long time before Christopher Columbus, y'all. Now this is in Mexico. This thing stands 9 feet tall. 9 feet tall. And they built these heads all over Mexico. The Olmec civilization. The Africans influenced the Olmec civilization significantly. Next photo. We're going a little bit fast here. Now, another thing that's very important for us to understand, I mentioned a little bit earlier, melanin, right? Can I get a show of hands of who understands what melanin is? Please raise your hand if you understand what melanin is. Melanin is a you know melanin? What do you know about melanin, bro?
Melanin is like...
Can you stand up and tell everybody what you think about melanin?
Melanin is the complexion on your skin.
Okay.
So when you outside and the sun hits you, that kind of affects your melanin.
Okay.
Makes you darker, makes you lighter.
Okay. Great point. Great point. You're exactly right. That's just one small part of what melanin is. Everybody listen to me. This is powerful. Melanin's in everything we need. It's not a specific thing. We don't just have it. Caucasian people have it. Asian people have it. All human beings have melanin. The significant point is we're able to catch it and scatter it different than other races. And it's been found that we have higher levels of it. Now, there's a thing that they call the black cell. I don't want to get too heavy. The black cell is made up of 3 components. Melanosis, melanosum, and melanin. These are the 3 components that make up this black cell. It turns on from a battery. It's called tyrosine. Now, this is specific terms, and I don't expect you guys to understand that. But it turns the melanin on. Now, what turns this melanin on? What turns this cell to get to working? Say that again? I didn't hear you. Part of it. Part of it. Part of it. Part of it. Before I go any further, we have to understand that melanin is not only in our skin, it's in our eyes, our hair, our brain, and our ears. It's in our spinal cord, it's in the women's ovaries, it's in our testicles as men. And it's in the human fetus as a baby. Every baby that's born has a layer of melanin around. It's a known fact. Okay? Now why is this important? Why is this important? What's this have to do with me, right? Because this is what I thought when I first, what's that got to do with me? Everything. Everything. How do you get melanin? Melanin secretes from your brain during specific times of the day. Right? It's a hormone. Okay? It's melanin. And we have the opposite, serotonin, which comes during the day. Now, I'm going to specifically talk about melanin here, y'all. Now, melanin secretes at night. Between the hours, the high level is between the hours of 9 and 12 p.m. Now, the key with this is you have to be sleeping and it has to be dark. You can't have no music, you can't have no TV on. You have to be dark and your body has to be at peace and at ease for this melanin to start secreting from your brain, which the pineal gland is as small as a grain of rice. And it cuts on this thing and it starts secreting through your blood. Click to the next slide, please. And as it secretes through the blood, it affects these different things here. Now, I got LeBron up here, y'all, because this is why LeBron jumps so high. This is why athletes, black athletes, be doing some. Woo, man, this dude jumped 12 feet in the air, spin around in midair, and slam dunk a ball. Right? Why is he able to do this? Why is he able to do this? Melanin is a significant part of it. It affects your motivation, it affects your dreaming, cancer prevention, your memory, your body movements, right? Anti-aging, as I said earlier. You get a brother looking 45, you might think he's 20-something if he took care of his body, right? Go ahead, bro.
So what you're saying is if you sleep in like just a dark room all the time, that
You have to be asleep at a certain time. Now, how many of us is asleep at 9 o'clock at night? What time you go to bed? Thank you. Anybody go to bed at 9? You see the significance in that? This is why my grandmother lived to 98 years old. Because you call her house after 7 o'clock? Man, you might have got cussed out. What you gonna call her about? She loved you to death, but she done said some nasty words. You call her house after 7. For real though. Our elders knew this, y'all. They knew this. They understood melanin. It's not just in our skin. It's all throughout your body. Right? And when we pass away, the scientists and these medical doctors are calling it junk DNA. They're finding this black substance in black people that they can't do. They know what it is. They might not tell us. But they labeled it junk DNA. Junk DNA. Why the word junk? What you using the word junk for? Because you want to downplay what's going to make me be a powerful person? You want to downplay it. It's very serious melanin, y'all. Always remember that. Next slide for me, please. Now, getting a little bit further into historical memory, and again, you know, I'm speeding this up. We have to understand, as I'm sure Sister Adam or the men in the back has probably told you guys already, that all races of man learned and copied from Africa. It's just a known fact. Every race, every civilization learned one thing or another from our ancestors. That does not make us superior again. It just shows that, hey, y'all came and sat down and learned from black teachers, which y'all went back and shuffled and then regurgitated back out to the masses. Now here's the proof. Here's part of my proof here. Okay? On the right we have a Tekken that's in Africa. We call it an obelisk. Okay? Here in America. And on the left is the Washington Monument. Can anybody see a difference in that? It looks the same to me, right? It look the same to y'all? Yeah. Look identical, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Except for the writing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. The significance of this, though, is much different than it. It just shows that they copied. Now, if you don't know the story of the Tekken, the story of the Tekken goes that Asar was killed. Last brother Set chopped into 14 pieces, right? These 14 pieces were scattered all throughout Egypt. And his wife, which is significant, y'all, his wife, his woman, went and found his body and put them back together. Put them back together, but the penis was missing. She couldn't find it. Where's it at? Right? So the story is that she transformed herself into a bird and flew over the part of his body where his penis was. And the semen came into her. And she then transferred herself back into a woman and gave birth to God's son, which we now call Herod. Some call horse. You got to understand now. Now, what does this mean? This is a representation of that man's penis. Excuse my French, sisters. This is a representation of the black man's penis. Now, why does the Washington Monument look just like it? Somebody tell me this now. Come on now. Yeah, it's funny. When I first saw it, I laughed too. Right? But it's serious though. This is the representation of a black man's penis. Okay? Now let's be real. Let's be real. Hey, I want it to stick in. That's why I keep saying it. Alright? It's very serious. Okay? Very serious. Now we find these all over America, y'all. They're in grave sites. If we could go to Homewood Cemetery right now and find a Tekken. Why are they copying our culture and we don't know it? Why don't we know what a Tekken is? Why don't we know this? They know it. Right? They know it. They put all this knowledge right here in your face and saying, brother, I dare you to go find it. They ain't had this knowledge from us. I'm not a genius. I didn't invent this. I went and read it and studied it and learned and researched and researched. This ain't nothing that I came up with. This is serious. Next photo from me, brother.